Welcome back to part 3 of 3 for my Luck Be a Landlord symbols tier list. So, without any more ado, let's jump right into the final part. So, the reason for that is because it's actually hard to get eats. It's actually really hard to get eats for a lot of these people, when it comes down to it. Okay. Pear is in the same boat as the amethyst, right? Let's just go there. Actually, it's slightly better than the amethyst because there's more things that can actually buff the pear. Ninja, let's continue on. It's a twofer that in general isn't. It's a twofer, and that's basically all it does. It has some synergies, not really much. Curse Katana is something. You got Ninja Mouse as something, but other than that, that's about all it is. Let's go Omelette, right? Omelette. Same stage as Egg, Golden Apple. What am I saying? It's Golden Egg and Apple, right? It's about the same thing there. And Orange is slightly worse, right? Is it in niche? Yeah, I'd say it's in the top of niche. Or it's definitely just a worse version of Big Ore. So let's put it around the Big Earn level, actually. Where are this Big Earn? So over there. Owl, I really like the Owl. Owl synergizes with a lot of things, but as a baseline symbol, it's a really good one, right? It's a high niche. It's a niche symbol, but if you get it early on in the game, it becomes a really nice support. Okay, the Oyster, I think it kills runs. It's just a Midas it's a Hex of Midas that's worse. That's all it is, because pearls are terrible unless you have a diver, and with a diver you just clear out the oyster. Like, what? There's no point in having oysters. All right, Peach is gonna be same as the orange. Pearls, there's just one first. They killed the runs. Pinatas, they depend on toddlers, but they're not bad, right? They're not bad. So they do release a lot of candy, actually, and you depend on toddlers for them. So I have to put them a bit low. Plum, same thing as these. Orange probably should go higher because it does synergize with one extra item. Okay. Present at the bottom. I'm sorry, if you depend on exactly one symbol to make you good, I can't put you high. Rabbit Fluff is honestly a really, really dang good support item. It's not worth too much, but it can get buffed on its value, and it gives you better items. Rabbit, after this new buff, I think is a really nice support item, right? Rain, I mean, I don't take Rain often, so I can't really have a good gauge on it, but I'd say it's middle of niche, right? There's one build where it pops off, but other than that, it's not great. Removal Capsule, not run defined, but it's definitely a really, really nice support item. Versus the reroll capsule, it's not as good as one, right? It just isn't as useful most of the time. Because if you use it, you probably want a lot of rerolls if you're searching for something. Robin Hood is a run defining item, right? He's a run defining item because he works off of arrows very well. Rubies, I mean, I don't know. Actually, I think I have to take down rubies and emeralds into support, because they are simply like the golden egg and the apple, right? Because they are 3-fers that get buffed. Safe, probably somewhere around here. And Sapphire, I think, is actually relatively close to the rabbit. The reason behind that is because of geologist. Actually, if that's the sole reason, it can't be that high. Sorry. Since this is where it would be normally, but because it basically makes it so geologist double eats every time, I think it's better than the fruits for Miss Fruit to eat. Seeds are in the middle here. Not sure exactly where. I don't have the brain power right now to do it. It's 12:30 in the morning, and I'm just trying to get through this. I didn't realize there were going to be as many symbols as this, but we'll keep going here. So, Shiny Pebble. It's definitely not near Rabbit Fluff because it doesn't multiply as well and it doesn't give as much value, but it's definitely a really nice support item. Okay, so Silver Arrow, definitely it's a run. Silver Arrow is definitely run defining, right? How run defining? I think it's slightly above the suits, right? And let's go Sloth. Sloth is pretty niche. It's a 1.5 per spin item, which isn't even as good as some of the twofers, right? To reorganize this. Snail, I mean, I don't pick Snail ever, so I'd probably put it somewhere there. Suits are pretty run defining. Spirits are possibly one of the best support items in the game. Right? They just are there, and they give you 16, and then they leave. Strawberry is definitely higher than all of this. I don't think it's higher than honey, but it's just an item to get buffed, right? The sun, it is very niche. There is one synergy with it, but that synergy is amazing. So let's put in high niche. Target, I mean, the target's just a support item. It doesn't really do much for us. Hex is blah blah blah. Tedium capsule. Wow, I cannot remember that. I mean, it's not great. I'm sorry, it really isn't that great. So let's put it somewhere there. Thief. Thief is very interesting, right? Thief has a bunch of things that will kill it, so I think it puts them in support. It's a pretty nice support. She gives you about two per spin, which isn't great, but you're not taking Thief by itself ever. So that's why I think it's relatively good. Probably below the cowbell. So 3-sided dice, very nice item. Probably just because it's a common, I'd have to put it in high niche. Toddler's really nice. It enables a lot of synergies. So that's why I think he's actually just in the middle of niche, right, as well. Tomb, because it just pumps out spirits, right? It has to just be a support. It's not good enough to carry a run by itself because you want to destroy sometimes. The treasure chest, I mean, the chests are just going to be scattered like that, something like that. The turtle and the snail are very similar, with the turtle being slightly better, simply because it gives a slightly less, but in faster amounts. The urn is probably on the other side of Fool again. The void creatures, I think, are also some of the best support items out there, and that just supports you going through the run, right? Because you can take them and not have to worry about anything, and worry about your deck size filling up. Watermelon is in the same boat as strawberry. I'm sorry. Wealthy capsule. Wealthy capsule is actually along with the void. It's probably slightly worse than the void creatures, depending. So I'll just put them together-ish, simply because item capsule is worth more than the void creature if you have either a capsule machine or if all of your slots are filled. But in the early game, the void creatures are better. Wildcard can be very run defining, but it has to be at the bottom, because if you don't have a good run already built, wildcard doesn't do anything for you. Wine, I don't know. Wine is it's just the middling one. It has a good eat. It can be eaten, so that's something I really like. So I'll put it up there. And support, which is they don't really define a run. I mean, they do, but they're not that great, right? Like, they're on par with the Beastmaster in general, because the only time I've gotten the Witch to really work is when I used it as a buff for our cats, or I used it as a buff for other animals, and not as just a Witch by itself. The Wolf is, I mean, the same as the animals, right? It's just slightly better. It's about the same as the rabbit, I would say, but it has some buffs that you can get from item. Okay, let's go through this, and let's just see if I was given a blank board, right? Let's just see how I would actually pick them. Would I instantly pick Geologist? If I had the option of Geologist, Golden Arrow, and Miss Fruit, what would I pick? Well, I would pick Geologist. or the golden arrow. Actually, I would probably pick golden arrow above it because golden arrow just synergizes with everything. Right. So like this, I think that looks good. The pirate might be a bit low, so let's put him up a tad. Here, diamonds, actually, I don't know if they, I think they belong here, right? Because it's just one of those buffs. You need a lot to synergize with it. Actually, they can be run defining. They can be pretty run defining. I can stick with that rating there. The moon though, moon I think, no, the moon is way too high up here. I do not think moon is that high. Let's put you just above the buffer, around with all the buffers. Yep. Dame, let's pull you back down to with all the buffers, because that's really all you are. You're just someone that buffs, right? Continuing on. Do I really think suits are that run defining? I don't think they are. I really don't think suits are that run defining. They're nice, but they don't. You need a lot of other things to prop them up for them to win, right? So, but then if I put them in support, where would I put them in? Probably where the capsules are. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, let's put you guys here. Okay, now egg, chicken, and chick. Do they belong in run defining? Yes, I think they do, because it tells you exactly why you win or exactly why you lose, right? That's what I'm looking for in run defining. Because with run defining, oh, I didn't feed Miss Fruit enough, so I lost. I didn't get enough stuff for Robin Hood to like buff, so I lost. I didn't buff the pair enough, so I lost. I didn't buff the amethyst enough, so I lost. I didn't get enough diamond. General Zeroff killed my run, right? Those type of things. Which means that Joker should get moved back down to one of the buffers. Continuing on. Everything here looks good. I don't see anything here that I particularly hate. That maybe put card shark a bit lower. And yeah, looks about right there. As for the niche items, there's a lot of items in here, which I think makes sense, right? A lot of these items you wouldn't pick on their own, but in the correct circumstances you would. As for the detrimental, I would almost never take any of these items. I've started taking candy and cheese more, or candy more, because the toddler simply because of the toddler making it just slightly better, because toddler has so many different synergies. Crab, I don't think it's ever worth taking. And at the bottom, the three of them that I really think are the worst possible symbols, and that I would never take. And if you ask me what you would have to pay me to take them, you would have to pay me a lot of money to try to make some of these work. Don't get me wrong, Cultist Run is fun, but I don't think it's a good symbol. Alright, that'll conclude my tier list on all the symbols in Lucky Me Landlord. If you guys have any opinions that are different, tell me, scream at me in the comments why I am wrong, and why things should be higher or lower than where I put them. Alright, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a nice day.